So I have my tables ready for writing data to. Let's add them inside Power Apps. I click View Data Sources. I add a data source. I'm going to add the tables that I set up. Do a search for them. Reading fluency. Add the two tables. We're going to be using a function called patch to write data back to our tables. I can do so by adding a button. This button, I'll give it a different name. We'll call it Save. And in the name of this button, we'll call it Button Save. The patch formula will write data back to the table. So the table that we want to write back to is called our fluency. Defaults of our fluency simply means give me a blank row inside our fluency so that I can write into a blank row. After that, I'm going to list out all of the columns of information that I have, starting with a curly bracket. There's an easy way of doing this and a hard way. Let's do it the easy way. I go back to my table of all the records. I'm going to copy the name of all these columns. Let's paste it transposed so that it's in a column. I can cut this, bring it into my app. There's the name of all my columns. I'll tab this in. I'll tab this in. Okay, let me tell you what we're going to put down for each of these records. For the timestamp, I'm going to set it to a function called now. Now is going to return the current date and time information. I put a comma so that I can show the next column. Administered by, I'm going to put the email address of the person who's currently logged in. In this case, I can use the user function. User parentheses dot email will return the email address of the person who's currently logged into Power Apps. For the ID number, I'm actually going to use now again, but not just the date and time again, but I want it formatted into a number. So I use the text function. I'm going to format the text so that it shows the year first, month, day, hour, minute, second. Put a comma after that. For the SID number, I'm going to list out the person who's chosen in the gallery of students. So I can reference the gallery students, dot the selected student, dot their SID number. This means look at the gallery of students on the settings page. Tell me which one's selected and the student ID number for that student, comma. The gross words per minute is going to be the last word, dot ID number, comma. Error count is going to be a count of the rows in the error count table, collection, in the error words collection, comma. The net words per minute is going to be a difference between the last ID number minus the count of the errors, comma, the error words. Here I'm going to be using the concat function. Concat means it's going to take all of the words in the error words collection, stick together the word in each of the rows with a comma. So all of the words that a student's missed, stick them together, separated by commas. Those are all my columns. I finish up the patch function with closing that curly bracket. And after the curly bracket, I use a parenthesis to match the opening parenthesis of patch. Let's test it out and see what happens. We'll play the app. Here we've chosen some test errors. We have the collection over here. If I click save, you'll see some rolling dots around the top of the screen. If I jump over to my spreadsheet, you'll see a new record is written. It's administered by this email address. It has an ID number of this. Student number 1, they had 26 words read overall, 8 errors with a net of 18. And here are all the words that they missed. It worked.